Report period begins April 2nd, 1999. Position of time of last report was Shingle Expediter. Melissa began the period as Shingle Expediter. She held that position throughout the period. There were no promotions or demotions during this period. It is her current and highest position. Strengths. Melissa is an intelligent and friendly student. She is able to set and accomplish short-term goals. However, her inconsistent work ethic and her lack of esteem often undermines her ability to achieve her long-term aims. Melissa has demonstrated that she's able to take an assertive and vocal role with her peers. She is task-oriented and desires seen as someone who is able to accomplish her responsibilities. Melissa is family-oriented and desires to improve her relationship with her family. Melissa is an excellent athlete and participated in Elan's interscholastic varsity women's track and field program. Possesses good insight and is able to offer advice to others, although she oftentimes will not heed her own advice. Melissa enjoys participating in extracurricular activities. Weaknesses. Melissa has low self-esteem and lacks the necessary confidence to compete on a regular basis by the structure and supervision of the Elan program. She compromises her long-term goal for immediate gratification and quickly loses focus of her values when she's placed in situations that are less structured. Melissa lacks motivation. This point can be illustrated with the fact that Melissa was not promoted during this recent period, despite having numerous evaluations for promotion. Melissa failed to earn the position of Chief Expediter. Melissa can be cruel and vindictive when her feelings are hurt. She still has a very difficult time listening to constructive criticism. This remains an ongoing weakness. Melissa loses sight of her goals and values when she is outside structure and supervision. During this recent period, Melissa earned her first home visit, and for the most part did well with her interaction with her family. However, when she was going to go home the following week after returning to Elan for her sister's graduation, Melissa already started making plans to do things, to go places with her friends, despite the fact that the intention behind it was for her to be able to participate in an important family event. Melissa can be very superficial and has a hard time making decisions that are based on value opposed to immediate gratification. During this period, Melissa also had several setbacks. Prior to going home to visit with her family, to engage in some extremely self-destructive and unhealthy behavior, where she started pulling out her hair again. She did not admit to this, nor did she attempt to take responsibility for this until after she had returned from her home visit, because she did not want to jeopardize the visit with her family. Melissa can still be dishonest in order to get what she wants. Melissa still has a tendency to place greater emphasis on things that are superficial. She can be impulsive and seeks immediate gratification at the expense of her relationships. Her values and goals. Outstanding behavior. Outstanding behavior. During this period, Melissa had outstanding behavior, which was her dishonesty and her pulling her hair out of her head when she was frustrated. Melissa was addressed in groups about this behavior, about this self-destructive behavior. Goals. Melissa hoped to be more consistent as a shingle expediter by taking greater initiative to be assertive and vocal with her peers. Melissa seems to do well when she is in structured situations or when she is supervised. However, she lacks the necessary self-confidence and values to make decisions that are based on logic when she's in less structured situations. The same is true in her job. Melissa needs to work on becoming more vocal and holding her peers accountable. She has demonstrated that she is able to compete as a single and complete her responsibilities within the assigned time limits and hopes to continue to do so. However, Melissa lacks values required to have a consistent work ethic. At times, she still does very little when she does not think when she thinks she'll get away with it. During the upcoming period, Melissa wants to work on developing a consistent work by setting and accomplishing goals on a daily basis and working to reach her full potential. Melissa is still extremely selfish and self-centered. Initially, she had wanted to be able to attend her sister's graduation and see her family on this special occasion. However, Melissa quickly lost sight of the importance of her participation in the family activity and instead made plans to see friends, some of whom had been unhealthy relationships with her in the past. Melissa quickly loses sight of her short and long-term goals. She needs to work on this by prioritizing her responsibilities and working to make decisions that are based on logic and values rather than immediate gratification. Melissa needs to work on earning trips in the community to work on peer-appropriate behavior outside the structure and supervision of a line. In static groups, Melissa needs to work on addressing issues concerning self-esteem. Melissa admits still lacks the necessary confidence to compete with her peers on a regular basis. At times, it's a false image of bravado to mask her real fears and inadequacies. She has a hard time competing on a consistent basis with peers. Melissa admits that she still forms unhealthy relationships with her peers and compromises her values simply to be accepted. She has made progress on this during this recent period. It remains an ongoing weakness that needs to be addressed. Melissa admits that she would likely regress and return to self-destructive, life-threatening behaviors if she were not in the structure and supervision of the Elan program. She feels as though she's made a great deal of progress, but that the progress would be completely compromised if she were not here. Melissa still has a hard time dealing with her frustrations productively and reaching out for help in a healthy manner. Melissa regressing to pulling her hair out when she was frustrated, rather than talking about the feelings that were overwhelming her and seeking help from her peers, staff, and family, is indicative of this ongoing weakness. During the up period, Melissa hopes to also address issues concerning her family and her relationships in static decision-making, as well as issues in special women's groups. Past, Melissa has formed extremely unhealthy relationships with males to compensate for her low self-esteem. Through the process of working to build greater self-confidence by setting and accomplishing goals, Melissa's interactions with males have been less flirtatious, become more appropriate. However, this remains an ongoing weakness that she needs to continually address. During the upcoming period, Melissa wants to work on building greater confidence by setting daily goals and being more honest about mistakes. Melissa still is hesitant to admit to her mistakes until long after the fact, rather than reaching out for and working to remedy the situation. Melissa still glamorizes about past behaviors, in some of her promiscuity and drug and alcohol use. While she's expressed a great interest in working to change this, Melissa admits that some of the reasons why she does not participate in these unhealthy and life-threatening behavior is because of structure and supervision of the program. Melissa wants to work on developing the necessary confidence and values required to be an asset to self, family, and society. She believes that by taking a more vocal and assertive role with hers and working to stand up for what's right, by taking greater initiative to admit to her mistakes and take responsibility for her problems, she can work on achieving her goals. She hopes to continue to make academic improvement and feels as though she is able to do so. During the upcoming period, by being consistent with her emotional and functional work, she can earn a promotion to Chief Expediter. Melissa admits that she has a tendency to be extremely superficial and put status as far greater importance than growth. At times she becomes cruel and vindictive towards her peers, usually when she is jealous. During the upcoming period, Melissa wants to become more emotionally balanced, treating people fairly, and by working to accomplish her goals, by being honest about her mistakes, by her peers accountable on a consistent basis, and by improving her self-esteem. At the same time, she does not want to regress and return to some unhealthy, self-destructive behaviors, like pulling her hair out. Instead, Melissa wants to reach out to her peers, staff, and family and work on being able to take greater initiative at confiding in them to help prevent some of her mistakes. If you have any questions or concerns, feel free to contact me, Peter E. Rowe, Director of Elan 7.